Hi guys, welcome to this update video this afternoon. I hope you have been enjoying your day thus far. We're going to be talking about what is going on in the Caribbean. So we're looking at the Atlantic at a wide view here, and we can see that frontal system which extends into the region. Now ahead of that front, well, there are actually two fronts. One is a stationary front and there's another one behind it, a reinforcing front, and ahead of them we've got a surface trough. Now that trough is resulting in a surge in convection, all that shower and thunderstorm activity in parts of the central Caribbean, and there's even a bit of a surge in moisture as well, with another trough located within the vicinity of the Lesser Antilles. So as we take a closer look at the region here, we can see what is going on. We can see all of this activity pushing up to the northeast towards Hispaniola, and even within the vicinity of Jamaica, there's been a couple of thunderstorms this afternoon, some showers in some areas as well. Let me know what's been going on for you. As for my area, we definitely received some downpours, nothing crazy though, and we could hear a bit of thunder in the distance, but that didn't persist for a very long time. But for now, it is just overcast for me. Bit of moisture seen in the southwestern Caribbean as well, and then towards the Lesser Antilles, as I said, a second trough is in that area. So that is resulting in an increase in rainfall and thunderstorm activity within the vicinity of Trinidad, Tobago, even for the Windward Islands especially. Going further up north to the Leeward Islands, parts of the Virgin Islands, there isn't as much activity. And then behind that frontal boundary, we've got some cooler air coming down, and there's not as much action there in terms of rainfall. So we're going to be looking at the forecast for the short term. Now, even though we're seeing this surge in moisture now, it's not just a one-day thing. Over the course of the next couple of days, we're going to continually see an increase in all this convective activity, and that is going to result in more rainfall for some areas, those thunderstorms as well, and of course with those periods of heavy rain that could lead to instances of flooding, especially in the more flood prone areas. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall forecast. All right, here we go. So as I said, behind that frontal boundary, things aren't so active. We've got more stable environmental conditions. We've got a lot of dry, cool air coming down. So conditions should be a bit on the cool side for much of the Bahamas, Florida, much of Cuba as well, parts of Central America. Although there could be some showers loitering around in the vicinity of the Bay Islands, the Keys of Belize, and even for parts of Honduras, northern Honduras as well. As we head to the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, parts of eastern Cuba, the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, it is going to be quite active as we head between now and, let's say, around tomorrow afternoon. Similar thing as we head through much of the Lesser Antilles with that secondary trough in the area. ABC Islands, it could be active there as well with some showers in the area. Now, as I mentioned, with those periods of heavy rain, there could be instances of flooding. So should you encounter any floodwaters, turn around, don't drown, do not attempt to cross flooded roadways, bridges. It is imperative that we take the necessary steps to protect life and property as much as possible. And as for northern South America, it gets pretty active as well. Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. So heavy downpours definitely possible. And then for southern Central America, Panama and Costa Rica, and even for the offshore islands of San Andres and Providencia, it will likely be a bit active there as well. We saw that bit of a surge in moisture within that general area. So it's going to be an active weekend for much of the Caribbean. And as we're going to be heading into the next couple of days, as I said, we're going to continually have this increase in rainfall, especially in the central Caribbean. So for Jamaica, especially in the east, for Hispaniola, even headed to parts of eastern Cuba, the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, it is going to be active. And this is a look at the surface chart. We can see here that we've got those fronts again. There's that main frontal system. There's a reinforcing front behind it. And of course, with these boundaries passing, there's that area of high pressure setting in over the U.S. And that's going to help to increase those winds coming from the north, as well as that cooler air. So we've got some cool, dry air setting in. And then there we have that broken line indicating the trough. There's a second one within the vicinity of Lesser Antilles. Let's zoom in a bit more. There we can see it a lot better. So you've got two troughs, surface troughs that is, and then those frontal systems within the area really helping out to enhance the rain for the Caribbean. Now, as it pertains to the cool down, so as I mentioned, conditions should be a bit on the cooler side for much of the Bahamas, Cuba, even headed towards Central America. But then eventually, as we're going to be heading into later tonight and even tomorrow morning, other parts of the Caribbean, Jamaica, Hispaniola as well, the Cayman Islands should be experiencing those below normal temperatures. It may not be dramatically cooler, but temperature should be notably cooler than normal. It's not going to be that typical summer heat that we experience, or even being in the tropics, it's warm right throughout the year, but there are some times when the temperature will actually dip a bit lower than what is usual. And then of course we'll get those stronger frontal systems come in with more exacerbated impacts as we're going to be heading into early next year, especially for January. That's typically when we get some of the stronger fronts coming down, even into early February, and then things start to get on the drier side from March and then going into April. And then of course we start to get those tropical waves headed to May, June. Hurricane season next year starts, but that's way out in time. I mean, the 2024 hurricane season is not yet to conclude. It concludes within the next couple of days on November 30th. So there's going to be that, the frontal systems coming in will be the talk of the town over the course of the next couple of months. Not really seeing much signal in terms of tropical cyclone development. So that is pretty unlikely at this point in time. But as we know, we don't need tropical cyclones to experience those dangerous impacts, the flooding rains, those strong winds. Because, some of the strong fronts ahead of the boundary, they can actually result in that type of weather. The very unstable weather conditions that could be very dangerous at times. So that can happen with the stronger frontal systems. But, they're much different from tropical cyclones. So, of course, I'll continue to keep you guys posted. I really just wanted to let you know what's happening out there. No tropical threats at this time, but we do have that surge in moisture in the Eastern Caribbean and the Central Caribbean associated with the surface troughs and the frontal systems. But, yeah, that's it for now, guys. And do continue to keep safe. And if you have any questions, though, leave them in the comments. I'll get to you when I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.